I think one thing you'll find with like people who don't have direction in life is and not to say this is a bad thing. Sometimes it can just be a matter of age. These people are usually led to do and pursue jobs, education, degrees that perhaps they don't particularly have any particular interest in. Most of the times it's because a parent recommended it for them, and society's made it a norm where you need to go to school, get your degree, otherwise you're not going to be successful in life, right? It's quite concerning that people still think like this. Okay, my personal opinion, I think obviously like qualifications can help a lot of people. If you want to be a doctor, like you want to be a lawyer, you want a well qualified job, I absolutely encourage people to just like go to school and to figure out their way around life and society. That right there is completely fine. But you won't find that to be the case for a lot of people. Some people do a lot, like those are very selective programs, competitive programs. The remaining majority of people who are in school are pretty much pursuing a lot of programs where they don't actually have any interest or any joy, or any sort of reason as to why they're pursuing it, besides the fact that society told them that they need it, otherwise they're screwed. So you'll find that there's a lot of pressure put on these people to more or less perform. And should they be caught perhaps just questioning this ideal, this belief, this is when you'll start seeing some labels being thrown, some judgment, some criticism, because this person's chosen to stand out, to be perhaps self pursuing. And if you look at the generation we're in today, it's like you just realize that ideal, that belief that you need a degree, right? It's getting a little bit, it's becoming questioned. And I say that because, first of all, you have people who do not even possess qualifications working in very established positions. Okay. You also have people who perhaps haven't even considered education, and have actually even considered prioritizing perhaps even media, those social media apps, and they are making probably generous income, equal if not better, some of them, than the remaining masses who perhaps are still stuck in I would say the college situation, right? And this is the problem. Like again, I'm not promoting that. I'm not against it. I told you, if you need to go to school to do what you want to do, you need the license. That's cool. I like that. But I have a problem when you become so concerned about using a certificate to try and please society, because I'm just going to tell you the truth, okay? And this is the real truth about life that I think a lot of people need to know. People don't care about you, okay? I mean it. Like, you think your professors care about you. No, you're paying them 10 grand a semester for them to talk about how good they are, okay? Um, it's really nothing personal, right? So I say that because you need to really understand, like, what is it do you want to do? And I think that's the situation, and that's the opportunity that a lot of people haven't had to explore, because we live in a society that puts so much pressure on trying to live up to the image, and obviously trying to fit into the culture, right? And obviously it's going to be tough when you don't fit in. It's going to be it can be a little bit concerning, particularly when you do not do a program, or go in a direction that your parents want you to go in. But I'll tell you right now, if there's one thing you'll regret more than not pursuing the degree your parents want you to do, the thing you'll regret the most is doing something you don't want to do, working in a job you don't want to be in, being in an environment, in a position, and living a controlled life just because somebody said so. Okay, it's a concerning life when you don't actually know what your direction is, when you haven't had time to explore. Okay, and this is the problem I keep telling you. Like, how are you gonna tell a 18-year-old who just got out of school to have to put on the weight of life on their shoulders in an instant? This is why you see when you go to those college environments that there's so much illicit behavior. Like, contrary to what these adults think, you think your saint of a daughter, which is a figure of speech, is going to it's going to educational environment and pursuing nothing but education. Like, just honesty, and believe me, if you're in school, you know what I'm gonna say. Use your head. Do you really think that's what's happening? Okay. When they say they're just going out with their friends on a Friday night, no, they're trying to get away from the level of confusion that you've placed in front of them, right? Telling them that they need a piece of paper to define their worth, telling them that their life has to be figured out at the age of 18. Like, seriously, you're putting pressure on somebody who just turned an adult to figure out their life. I don't understand that. That doesn't make much sense. Okay, there's a concerning amount of pressure that when you apply that to somebody who's so young, it's gonna cause a concern. And the only advice I would have for somebody in that situation is, like, you really have to spend time, especially while you have that frame in your youth, to kind of figure out like what it is you like to do. And sometimes you just have to plug your ears and cut out what people are saying, because it really means nothing. Like, it's not changing your life. Okay. I'm not saying disrespects your parents or your culture if they want you to go to college and get a doctor's degree, right? Like, listen, if your parents are covering the cost, then I'd personally just take that opportunity, right? But like, if you are personally stuck, wondering why you're in a program that you don't like, you need to kind of reassess your life. And this is the issue, right? Like, you I think there's been too much emphasis being put on perhaps pursuing that tradition, right? And like I told you, once upon a time that tradition worked, right? Maybe if we weren't living in the modern century, we would still be living off of those cult beliefs that you need to work in the organized system. But you look at the world now, it's a very different world you live in, right? Okay. And I think some people can see that. Sadly, I don't think people have the confidence to pursue the next step. And because they don't have that confidence, sometimes societal norms can drag them down, right? Sometimes displeasing people becomes evidence, as they become over concerned with how other people view them, perceive them, and so on. And that's a sad life to live, right? Like, you think, do you really think when these people go to bed that they're thinking about what they told you? You think when these people are going on vacation, they're thinking about what they said to bring you down? No, they're not. Like, when you kind of realize that, you just have to understand. You have to just live the life you want to live. Like, if you like selling baseball cards, you can do that, I guess, right? There are people who listen. You got companies that actually make a fortune from establishing businesses and even startups from trading like that. So what makes you think you should be limited? And keep in mind, a lot of these people didn't even go to school, right? Even when you just look at the grand scheme of things, right? I'm not discrediting the facts that a degree can be secure. I just want people to more or less understand, like, your life at the end of the day needs to be in your control. Like, there's no point pursuing an art degree when you think you're a media specialist. Or let me put it this way: there's no point pursuing a philosophy degree when you genuinely think that you have talents in chemistry. So That's probably the only thing I would have to say.